Sim Racing Dan here with ISRA League Street Touring Challenge at Mid-Ohio. We do standing starts here in the STC, and we're off. I'm driving the Kayak Miata here as it goes by in the black, white, and orange. And the other class that participates in STC is the Mustang. And we'll see a little bit more of them once they start lapping us. Here's the field, looking mighty nice if I do say so myself. I've got Colin Wimbauer right behind me, and Colin McLean just moved up to also be behind him. And ahead of me is Carlos and Chuck Johnson, and ahead of him is James Cullen. Heading down the straight now. These Miatas draft a whole lot. They get a real benefit off drafting because they've got fairly poor aerodynamics. So let's see if we get any position here. Nope. Gonna tuck right in next to Chuck though. Let's see. I thought he was gonna go a little bit wide on that turn. It's bumper to bumper. I do love the Miata. It's a great car to drive. It drives very well. And the racing's always so close like this. Ooh, going a little bit hot into that turn, but not too bad. Now I've got Colin right on my tail. Colin, who's been the field marshal for the Grand Touring Championship Series. Oh, whoops, I just went off there, but was able to bring it back on without losing too much time, and no position loss. Well, that was a close one though. I got right off the gas and just concentrated on bringing the car back onto the road. Too many people I see doing things like accelerating on the grass, spinning themselves out, and making the situation a whole lot worse. Whoa, Chuck! Getting really sideways after going over that raised curb that is at the pit out. And that's going to be enough to give me the pass as we head into turn 2. Putting the power on, using every inch of track available. I've got Chuck 0.1 seconds behind me, right coming up next to me, so I must have messed up turn 2 enough for Chuck to get past me here. And it looks like I haven't updated a paint pack on one of my machines because, as you can see, Chuck is in a white car in the inset in the lower left, and he's in a black car ahead of me. And I'm gonna guess that the lower left is where I haven't updated it. At any rate, so yes, Colin's been our marshal for GTC, and it's great to have him. He joins as a fill the grid driver here in STC, as I've been doing this season, whenever he gets a chance. And it's great to have him behind me because I know I can trust him. He's such a great, clean driver and such a good driver that I just know that he's not going to run into me. I can concentrate on the battle ahead of me. And, you know, that's the kind of thing that you get from league racing and from ISRA. That's why I love it so much, because I can trust these guys and not have to worry too much about getting run into. Heading now through turn 1. Colin right on my tail. He goes to the inside. I move to make him room. And give him room as we get into turn 2. I go quite wide. I didn't have to give him quite as much room as I did, as it turns out. Colin's better than that. He doesn't need me to keep the door wide open for him. Colin having an advantage here, having driven his own spec Miata. Whoa! Going into that turn 3 really hot and kind of sliding it through. That was not too optimal, but it looks like Colin's being held up a little bit by Chuck, and that's given me an opportunity to catch up. taking it a little bit easy over the hill. In the Miata, that hill is really not too dangerous, but in most other car classes, you can easily spin when the back of the car unloads if you are on the gas too much. So, whoa! I don't know what happened there with Chuck, but something bad happened, and he went wide, and Colin took advantage of it, and let's see if I'm able to take advantage of it, as we are, well, I am ahead of him, and he's tucking in behind me. So yes, 2 positions lost due to something, not sure what. I mean, obviously it looks like he lost control a little bit, but it was a funny way to lose control. Turn 2 here at Mid-Ohio is probably my worst turn, or it's among my worst turns. I just, I never feel like I'm taking it right or fast any way I do it. And everyone else seems to be able to get through it faster than I can. Chuck now coming alongside, but I decided to defend on the inside and make him fight for it. And no, he's not going to get it this time. Too focused on defending there, and sort of took a lousy line through the top of the hill. Looks like Colin has gotten past James, and that's great for me. He's only 1.7 seconds ahead. We are now on lap 4, coming to a close as we head through the last turn sequence. Getting on the gas as early as I possibly can, with James just 1.0 seconds ahead of me down the front straight. Setting a fastest lap there of 1 minute 41 seconds. And I've still got Chuck just 0.4 seconds on my tail, so I'm not in the clear by any means. That looked pretty good there through turn 2. I'm happy with the way it looked. Let's see if it ended up being fast. Let's see if Chuck's able to get alongside. Well, he's awfully close now. 0.1 seconds behind. He is alongside. Probably benefited to the drafting. Honestly, that I did a bad job through turn 2. I go wide to give him room. And I'm going to battle him all the way through since I have the inside line over the hill. So far I'm ahead, but now he has the inside line, but he goes behind me. And that possibly could have been his, but he didn't want to fight it out, or maybe he lost a little bit of speed that I'm not aware of. So there's nice little battle there with Chuck. Obviously not doing us any favors here in terms of overall speed for this lap, since James is opening the gap up here to over 2 seconds, but a lot of fun to do. I mean, that's what I'm all about in these, you know, there are always guys who are going to be very, very fast, and I'm not going to win unless something very strange happens, but I live for those battles. Going a little bit wide through turn 1. Now I'm on the full throttle. But I got on the throttle awfully late. Chuck's 0.2 seconds behind me. He might have something here in turn 1. He's 0.1 seconds. No, he stays behind me. Yellow flag flying for Jomar, who's gone off, and that's easy to get by. Once again, down the front straight with Chuck right on my corner. Looks like he's not going to have it this lap. I take a little bit more curb off than I wanted to, but it turns out to be alright. Take a little bit of curb over there. This Miata does love to eat those curbs up, so not too much trouble in this car. And actually, it looks like it might have been kind of fast because I've gained a little bit on Chuck. So maybe I should be eating the curbs a little bit more. While we're here and probably not going to see any passes for a few seconds, as I say, and then Chuck looks like he's gone to the inside, but then pulls back. I was just going to mention, so the STC here at the ISRA is, as everything ISRA, open to everyone. The sign-ups have just opened up for the next season. Next season we're going to be running just the Ford GT, it looks like. The Mustang might be added to it, depending on if there's enough interest. So head over onto israleague.com and join up and sign up for this STC series. It's going to be a lot of fun. I expect to see, you know, a field of 30 or 40 Ford GTs. It's going to be a fairly epic battle right there. But back to this epic battle. Now Chuck is once again just inches off the back of my car. Doesn't have enough once again going into the turn at the end of the straight. And once again I'm eating up those curbs over the hill using every inch. Well, possibly could have gone a little bit farther, but at that hill it actually behooves you not to go quite as wide. Well, looks like a pass is going on up here between Carlos and James. Nope. Pass attempt, it didn't happen. Something happens to James. I'm not sure, he fell way back behind. And Carlos is looking closer than he was before. James back in the running now. I'm not sure what's going on over there. I don't know why he lost that position. But he is definitely back in the running behind Chuck. And behind me by 1.7 seconds. Chuck sticking to my bumper so well. As I said, you know, it's not just Colin who can drive close really well. It's just about everyone here. And, you know, even if you feel like you can't, come and join and join us for practices, and you'll learn. It's just all about practice and being cautious when you're very close to someone. All right, let's see. Chuck's got it. Once again, I'm giving him the inside if he wants it. He doesn't quite have it. Oh, I go a little bit sideways on the turn entry, but it gives me actually a really good at turn exit there, and go a little bit wide onto the yellow strip. That was kind of dangerous. That's what I was talking about, where you don't necessarily want to go all the way wide on that hill, because if you can get traction right in the middle of it, it sets you up for the next turn a lot better than if you go fully wide on that turn. Lost a little bit of time once again, but Chuck's not going to find a pass up here. Carlos ahead. He is 1.9 seconds ahead. There's a Mustang there. I assume they've pitted. These races this season, there is one mandatory pit stop. You don't have to do anything in your pit stop, but you must make it at least a stop and go. I'm not sure if that's going to hold for the next season. These races aren't as long as the GTC races. They typically are around 50 minutes long. And well, a stop, you know, it's a sprint race. A stop just really isn't all that necessary. All right, here we go. Chuck once again alongside. He's ahead of me. He has made the pass. I go for the better exit and better entry onto the hill. keeping it tidy as long as I'm going to be behind him here. And now, of course, I'm getting the benefit of the draft off Chuck. And that draft will forgive a couple of my mistakes. Coming down here, 0.4 to 0.3, 0.4 seconds behind Chuck. Closing in slowly, but I'm not going to have anything by the time we reach the turn. And here again, a nice long straight where I'm going to enjoy the benefit of that draft that Chuck was enjoying off of me. Looks like he got a better run off the turn. Let's see if that draft can start to pull me in. Looks like at this point, yep, I am gaining just a little bit, and that's the draft on the Miata right there for you. Getting on the gas early there, a little bit earlier than Chuck, but not going to have the pass through the right-hander over the hill. And a great exit onto the front straight. Just keeping it right behind Chuck. He goes a little bit on the curb. I go a little bit wide there. Not going to be enough for James to take advantage of it, but you can see right here, with half a second between each car, it's Chuck, me, then James, then Carl. Colin McLean now 5 seconds behind. That's because he took his pit stop. And it's been a while since I've been in the slower class here in one of these races, so unfortunately iRacing not giving us the position within class. I think there are about, well, I thought there were a good 12 Mustangs starting this race. Oh, hey! Chuck getting a really slow exit there. We go side by side over the hill. I thought I lost it and was going to run into him, but I didn't. And he's got more exit speed though. James follows him through on the inside. Left-handed, he gets through, but he doesn't have very much speed going through on the exit, and I tapped him as he pulled ahead of me, and I was rooting for him to get that car back under control, but just didn't. And Carl heads into the pits. I figure that I'm off speed, so I will too. One other unfortunate thing is I can't tell where he's pitting, so I take advantage of the fact that we're ghost cars and just go through him. Looks cheesy and bad, but unfortunately, without knowing where his pit space is, I don't know how to properly pull in. I guess I could have assumed it was going to be right in front of mine, and then it's probably always the best thing to do. At any rate, we are back on track now. After that little racing incident, we have Kevin Parrish behind me in his Mustang, and he will pass easily here down the straight as I chase down Carl Mumbauer. Mike Kelly, 2.9 seconds ahead of me. Or him, rather. Tried to look on the inside, but I didn't have the speed. Carl goes up on the curb. I pulled back just a little bit to make sure if he was going to mess up that it didn't mess me up, but he held it together just fine. And Jomar seemed to recover from that spin, although I don't know if he's done his pit yet because he's 1.2 seconds behind, but if he hasn't served his pitting mandatory pit stop yet, then he's actually quite a bit farther behind than that. Carl goes a little bit wide through that turn. I go for the slower turn and hopefully the faster exit. Looks good, but it's not going to do me any good right this moment. And it looks like Jomar has pitted now. Oh, I went way wide and hot into that turn. That was lousy beyond lousy compared to my my normal lousy on that turn 2. Mike Kelly continuing to open up the gap ahead of us, and behind me we've got Timothy Stoll coming on the Mustang, and Carl goes off, and that gives me the pass. And it looks like Timothy Stoll is about to go a lap down on the other Mustangs. Oh no, he is already a lap down on the other Mustangs, as Kevin is ahead of him. And Matthew Shoemake is just a fraction of a second behind him. I didn't catch who that was coming out of the pits. Let's see. It's a Mustang, so that's not of any concern to me. Timothy Stoll now 2.2 seconds behind. We've got a pack of 3 Mustangs, actually, pretty close to each other coming up here. They're going to close a lot down the straight here, but probably won't get the pass in. And since the Miata is actually a little bit faster in the corners, they will probably be following me through the back half of the track. I have to say, the Mustang and the Miata are a great pairing. Because the Mustang is slower in the corners, it means that they really don't feel the pressure and the aggression to pass in the corners, which is where usually things go wrong. The only thing I wish is that they had just a little bit more power on those straights, because they're really actually not all that much faster on the straights either. And Carl giving way for Jonathan and his Mustang. I stick to the outside, and Jonathan gets by, but goes real wide, and we've got someone exiting the pits. That is Kevin exiting the pits. Whoa, that was 3 wide. That was a dangerous situation with a Mustang going wide and one exiting the pits, but it worked out all right. Matthew Shoemake getting past me before turn 2. and some blinking going on ahead of me, but it's the Mustangs and they're about to vanish, so I don't really care. And finally, Timothy Stoll heads past on the right. And as you can see, I gain a little bit on Timothy in those turns. Alright, taking stock of where we are now that the big Mustang parade is past. We've got Carl about a second and a half behind me. And James Cullen, unfortunately, who I tapped and who spun, he is about 14 seconds behind. So unless some people do some pit stops and end up just ahead of me, things look like they may have shaken out pretty well here, as we are halfway through the race, a little bit beyond. Mustangs are on lap 17 here out of 30. Carl, though, closing the gap a little bit. So I'm definitely not out of the woods yet. I have to think about Carl behind me, and yep, he is definitely closing the gap, so let's see what happens. Chuck Johnson just popped up on my F3 screen 5 seconds ahead. Haven't seen Chuck since he got by me, so I might like to catch up with him and see if I can... whoa, okay, there's a collision up ahead. Matthew Voigt and Timothy Stoll look like they are involved in it, and Matthew Shoemake also. And that looks like that gave me the pass on Matthew Voigt, who was definitely ahead of me in 13th, while I was in 16th. That'll pull me up into 15th. And just looking at the standings, looks like Timothy Stoll is still on the same lap as I am. Let's see how the standings shake out once we get past the start-finish. Timothy heads into the pits, as I head on to the front straight with Carl now half a second behind me. And that does put me into 15th at the moment. As I go a little bit too wide, go off into the grass a little bit. Is that going to hurt me enough to give Carl the pass? No. It's not this time, but boy, that was close. Carl moving to the inside. Nope, I'm thinking he doesn't have quite the speed for it. He's looking there, though. Probably just heading there to be safe under braking. Oh, man, I went really wide and poorly through that uphill left-hander. Starting to keep it on the track there. Did, though, just onto the yellow strip. Nice and tidy through that left-hander into the braking zone for the big carousel before the front straight. And a single mistake is going to give Carl the pass here, so I have to keep trying my hardest not to let that happen. And it looks like we've got a pair of Mustangs coming up. Once again, they won't get past us on this straight here. On the second straight, that is. So they'll be following us through the back half, and that's just fine with me. Let's see if I can fend Carl off through another long straight. Just inches separating our car now at him. 0.1 second behind. But he doesn't go for it. And it looks like I opened up a little bit of a gap there, but let's see if it's clear. Yeah, it's closing down now. And now those Mustangs are starting to show up in the mirror. Blue flag is flying, but they're still not close enough to worry too much about. And I give Simon the space. And yes, he takes it. We go too wide. Get a little bit of low-speed draft off of him until he's way too far ahead to have it make a difference. Slide over to take advantage of the draft off Matthew when he gets past me. Blue flag flying once again for Jeremy Boris, who is a second and a half, so he's going to be following us here. And Carl, still completely stuck to my bumper. I'm pretty sure there's a tow rope going back between my car to his. And now Jeremy right behind Carl. Let's see if he... Yep. Jeremy gets past Carl. He also gets past me, although he practically goes through the pit out to do it. Now on Mustang lap 21 out of 30. We've got 9 left here with Chuck Johnson 4.5 seconds ahead of me. That's looking pretty good. Been able to... Well, now it's spreading out to 6. So obviously iRacing's determination changing. I find it most reliable on these straights though, so I'm going to take it at about 4.5 seconds. And Jason looking to get by Carl. He does it. That pushes Carl back another second, so he's 1.5 seconds behind me. Whoa, 2.5 seconds. What has happened back there? Well, that's a huge cushion for me. Obviously, Carl has come back from that deficit before in this race, so I can't rest on any laurels. Anyway, I'm not interested in resting. I'm interested in catching up with Chuck there. Go a little bit narrow on the turn, catch the raised curb a little bit, which puts me, well, where is Carl? Carl now out of the race somehow, or he's spun or something. So that does give me a plenty big cushion behind me. And so the focus changes now entirely to Chuck Johnson ahead of me. And Mike Cully just ahead of him. And they're very close, which hopefully means that they'll be slowing each other down. And that could play right into my hand. Let's see who's gone off here. It looks like Jason. No, Simon. Simon has gone off. And here again is an example where I haven't downloaded the texture pack recently enough. So Jason's going to, or Simon rather, will head by and suddenly change. Oh, maybe not. He looks the same in my mirror. All right. I thought he looked different. Nope. And we have, who is this coming out of the pits? Ralph, who I'm already a lap up on, so not too interesting for the purposes of my race. Sheldon coming up behind me in his Mustang will pass on the straight. Wow! Simon getting very, very wide in turn 2. I thought he was going to go off there. Sliding in behind Sheldon, see if I can get any draft off of him. And getting a little bit sideways there going into the turn. Those tires are starting to wear out, I think. I've abused them a little bit this race. And there we go. Now it is pretty much smooth sailing, probably for the remaining 8 laps, I would guess. Mustang could still close more than 10 seconds on me in the remaining time. Wait, am I on lap 23? That makes us lap 24 for the Mustang. 6 laps to go. So, probably not going to see any more Mustangs coming from behind. I'm watching the inset here. There is one back there behind James, but he is quite a ways back now from my perspective. Oh, he just showed up on my F3 screen. Well, maybe he'll get by me before the race is over. But in the meantime, let's talk about Chuck. Still hovering there around 5 seconds ahead of me. Man, that's going right up from 5 to 6. 7 seconds, so that's not good for me. It is unlikely I'm going to be able to close that gap in the remaining time here, so all I can hope for really is for someone up there to make a mistake, Mike or Chuck. So I'm just along for the ride here, same as you are, viewers. And let's see how things shake up out over these next couple laps. Wait a second, Chuck is Looking awfully close. He's inside 3 seconds. That 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. That looks like the mistake I was looking for. That puts more wind in my sail. Chuck now just ahead of me at the end of the straight, entering turn 2. I'm not sure what happened to him, but it was really good for me. With 5 laps remaining, let's see if I can close that gap. We were running really close competitive times at the beginning of the race. Let's see how we're doing now. Whoa! Getting a little bit loose on the turn exit there over the hill. Well, it definitely looks like I'm keeping up with him, so that's good. Getting the ABS engaged a little bit there on that braking zone. Fast down the front straight. And there's the blue flag. So that Mustang that I mentioned a while ago is in fact going to get by me sometime soon. And this is a perfect place for it because I can try to take advantage of the draft. He goes by, I pull in behind, try to draft off him as much as possible. And let's see how Chuck handles having a Mustang on his tail here. Definitely getting a little bit loose and sloppy through those turns. Tires certainly degraded quite a bit at this point. Well, it looks like I'm definitely closing, but very, very slowly. Not closing fast enough to make that gap go down in the 3 laps remaining. That's the only real problem with the Miata Mustang combination, is that they really only get 1 lap on us during the course of this 50-minute race. Probably on a track with longer straights, they could get 2 laps, and I think they've done that. But for the most part, we don't interact too much, and there's not a whole lot of managing traffic as a part of the race for the Mustangs. Eating up the curb, but doing it alright. Getting over the hill in a good position, on the gas nice and early. Reasonably tight there on the apex, although I could have chewed up the curb a little bit and it would have been alright. Just like that, heading over the curb, getting a nice track out onto the yellow painted strip. Chuck Johnson now 2 seconds ahead, 1.92 seconds up. You know, he was about 2.4 seconds ahead at that same spot 2 laps ago, so I've managed to close down about half a second. But I'm going to have to do a whole lot better than a half a second. Mike Kelly now, 2.1 seconds. Chuck Johnson, 1.9 seconds ahead of me. What has happened ahead of me? Mike Kelly getting passed now by Chuck and going through the pit exit there. And it looks like his race is over, as he stops and pulls off the track. Well, that was a very big late race surprise. I'm not sure what prompted that. But it's time to focus once again on Chuck Johnson. Oh, I did not have a good exit over the hill. And I'm sliding it, overdriving it way hard through the right-hander at the bottom of the hill. That is definitely going to cost me some time. And you can see it in the timing there. Chuck has pulled back out to 2.3 seconds, 2.4 seconds ahead of me. So everything I've gained in the previous 2 laps is now lost this lap. And this is not the last lap, so we're looking probably at 2 more, including this one. Well, there have been plenty of surprises here, so I'm definitely not giving up. Chuck's already made one big mistake that cost him several seconds. And if he makes one mistake of the same size, that would be all I'd need to get the pass off. I'm definitely not going to beat him at this point through my driving. Wow, eating a lot of curb on that right-hander, but I think that's just perfect for the Miata, just what it likes to do. Oh, going real wide, a little bit hot through the left-hander there. And now the white flag is flying, so we are looking at the last lap now. And unless something crazy happens, we are going to have the finish look like this. I don't know who's ahead of Carlos, and I don't know where I am placing right now in the Miata field. But I think I'm looking at a top 5 or 6 here, so that's a really good finish. Well, for me anyway. And heading through the turn for the last time. And there we go. Let's check out the results. That puts me in 5th place finishing, so not bad at all. And that's the STC. I hope you'll join us there. It's a really great time. Really accessible and a lot of fun. And they run Thursday nights. 10 p.m. Eastern is the beginning of qualifying. See you there.